Hey guys, Arm&Gun here. Let's get gun-pilled with another dose of gun education. Today we are checking out the AK47 milled Type 3 from the gun library to give you guys a closer look. Now, the goal of these videos, as always, is to give you guys a better understanding of this firearm, what it is, how it came to be, where it came from, and how to use it effectively, should you ever encounter one. Which, given it's an AK, yeah, chances are decent if you're going to encounter some type of gun. It'll eventually be an AK. So kick back, relax, say hi to Casual Dishka, and I will take you through a very brief history. Not much, just enough to make it dangerous. We'll run through some controls, the ergonomics, which are important and often overlooked. I'll give you my ASMR review, the most satisfying aspect of this little beauty, as well as the secret sauce. What is the most special just thing about... Hi girl, you're just getting all up in my business here. The most special thing about this gun, makes it, unique and whatnot. But we'll start with the top facts. However, before any of that, we have the question of the day, which today is brought to you by channel partner Gallo Tech, the awesome gun wall system you see here. It's modular, you can move stuff around. It's really slick. I've used it for years and it's awesome. So anyways, that's their deal. Now, question of the day. Okay, it's kind of like the last video. We did the Sturmgewehr last time. Now, I messed up when I gave you that question of the day because I said, would you rather, in some post-apocalyptic weird world, would you rather take a milled AK or a Sturmgewehr? And honestly, there are a lot of reasons to take the Sturmgewehr. However, I wanted it to be equal opportunity, like just focus on the gun. A lot of you guys did what is practical, and it's a good job. You guys thought about, okay, well, ammo, 7.62 by 39, way more ammo, plus parts. That's way more common than that gun. So you guys went for it for that reason, which is good, it's smart, I couldn't fault you, but it's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted to go with. So this time, in this fantasy apocalyptic world, we are all about the equal opportunity. So there is a roughly 50-50 split between 7.62 by 39 and 7.92 Kurtz. Pre-post-apocalyptic whatever, the guns were pretty much equally enjoyed. So as an inhabitant of this scenario, which gun are you going to choose? I'm going to make a case in this example. I took the AK last time as well for different reasons, not the ammo thing. But in this case, I'm going to make a case for the STG-44, and that'll be at the end. So let's get into it. It's gun pill time. All right, guys, your top facts for the AK-47. My dogs have invaded my armory studio here, but that's okay. We are 34¼ inches long, 8 3/4 pounds, which ironically is the same weight of the MP40, which is hiding under Argo's tail. So there's that. That's pretty crazy. Fire rate is around 600 rounds per minute, maybe a little bit higher. And of course, we are chambered in 7.62 by 39. That's that, well, it's the only steel round there, so. Versus a 300 Blackout and a 5.56. 300 Blackout being the little rattler boy there, and 5.56 being the good old Colt SP1. Don't mind me, buddy. Here's a quick little comparison for you guys. AK versus AR. AR is a decent amount longer. And I had M9 buried under here. So, geez, buddy. Just right on my stuff. There's an M9. Again, just to give you guys, that's about the approximate size. Or if you're wondering how big Argo's paws are. It's also accomplishes that. Now, history on this guy. Well, after the Russians kind of got their butts kicked with that thing on the Eastern Front, of course, they kicked butt all the way back. But it left an impression. So very soon after, well, actually right around then, they were developing that round. That is the M43 round for 1943. And then they sought to build a gun around it. However, the gun was originally meant to be a submachine gun. It was meant to replace more or less PPSH-41, PPS-43, which they're using at the time. So that was meant to be actually a new submachine gun. The SKS, believe it or not, was meant to be the rifle. That's probably one of the shortest-lived service rifles in Russian history because they quickly realized this was just kicked all the butt and they didn't need SKSs. So only the poorest commies got the SKSs. Anyways, they make this thing, but they start off with the Type 1, okay? AK-4 development kind of gets accepted in 47, but you don't really actually see them until the late 40s. But they start off with actually a stamped receiver. Again, they're like, yo, that is the future. So they tried to do stampings. Found out they weren't as good as the Germans were. They had some problems with the receivers being, quality control, all that kind of stuff. So they're like, well, let's just take all the guesswork out and mill it out of a massive block of steel and attach everything to that. And yes, and well, frick, man. They went from like arguably the coolest AKs, like Type 1, they're very rare and they're awesome, to the most bomb-proof AKs, the Type 2s, Type 3s. Type 2s are especially chunky. The Type 3, we actually shaved a decent amount of weight. We're back now, again, within like half a pound of a normal AK, so that's pretty good. But yeah, they made the Type 2s for a while, and they made the Type 3s a little more simplified, and then they figured out the AKM in, I think, 1959. So about 12 years later, they figured out the stamp process, and then they went full potato and have stamped out like 100 million since. Now, something is definitely lost when you go from mill to stamp. This is like interwar submachine gun in Germany quality. And then you go from this to the MP40. It's just like, you know, stamping. Yes, efficient, yes, cheap, but I just want me an MP38 or 34 just to appreciate that glorious old world, beautiful manufacturing quality and milling and machining. It is just so good. But alas, the milled AK was a little too bougie for the commies. So what can I say? Commies can't have nice things. And milled AKs were a nice thing. All right, bro doodles, we are doing the controls. So, well, there. Now you know it's clear, not just loaded. This is super simple. It's an AK. You guys know what the AK is. So we've got our little charging handle here. You can either roll it, come over the top, or you can come underneath and, you know, look like a boss. Safety selector is right here. We have various selectable positions. Here's your mag release, little paddle mag. Magazine's nose in, and our rock and lock. Here's your rear tangent sight, all the way to 800 meters. Basically a direct copy of the Sturmgewehr, and iconic AK front sight. Sling loop here. It was here on the Type 2s, now here on the Type 3s, and the rear one over here. Disassembly starts with this little button over here, but I have a separate video for that on my B channel, so go check that out there. And otherwise, you just gotta pull the trigger. All right, guys, it's time for my favorite section, which is the ergonomics. Now, the AK47 is actually the build, it's a very svelte feeling firearm. It feels like a brick in the hands, but without being too thick in the hands. I don't know, seems right. Nice grip. You can really get a nice handle on there. Sights are very easy to pick up and use. The overall gun is quite well balanced. Yeah, right, just forward of the mag well there, perhaps the balance point. So you're kind of carrying the weight quite well. It's fairly, fairly compact. You can run around with this thing, even with the nice fixed butt. Now, the fixed butt is going to be your best ergonomics for shouldering and getting a cheek weld and a nice, sight picture. There's also the underfolders, which are much worse, but then they're compact, so you've got that, or the side folders and a couple other different variations. If you can't have nice stuff, at least have variety. Pistol grip angle is raked a lot more forward now, which is nice. It feels good. Mag changes, it's not the best. The AR and even the STG-44 had it better. This isn't bad, but it's not great. If you're gonna do an emergency reload, you need to come flying in here with a spare mag and boop that guy out. Well, I don't know. ARs, you just press, flick, and you're ready in with a new one. And then bolt release, that's really nice. Again, no bolt hold on these guys. The magazines are great though. Double stack, double feed, nice and easy to load, so very reliable. So that's good. I don't like that the controls are on the right side of the gun. As a predominantly right-hander, and everyone back then, if you didn't know, everyone was right-handed, especially if you were in a communist government. So why they chose to break the mold from basically the God mode ergos on the Sturmgewehr, flip everything over here, and not even make it so you can use it properly with your index finger. Like the Sturmgewehr, everything's right here. It's amazing. Magazine release, all good stuff. Charging handle, kerchunk. It's just, that thing was right on the money. But I guess, like most communists, their vision was ultimately flawed, and they just did some truly backward stuff. So yeah, in terms of operating the gun, I'm not a huge fan of the ergonomics, but in terms of actually being behind the gun, running around with the gun, it is very nice in that respect. It just feels like it's not going to let you down. Like I can get yeeted into a concrete wall with this thing, and I might not be fine, but I would have full confidence that the gun would still run. Alrighty guys, for your ASMR review, you will see me stroking the action of an AK-47 with a nice, beautiful puppy, fluffy puppy in the background. So, going for all the satisfaction here. But yes, the selector glides very nicely over this milled receiver. It is noticeably nicer. Even just running your hands across the slick receiver, it's too good to be AK. Man. Oh, and then you actually run even slowly. This just feels so right. The extra with it running back the hammer. Yes. That is a good freaking time. And that will lead me to the secret sauce of the milled Type 3 AK, and that is that this is like the milled AK perfected. It's lighter weight, the Type 2s were chonky. It doesn't have this weird, you know, metal trunnion back here. It just looks, it looks good. It looks like a good looking AK. And it's handier, it's a little lighter, it's a little more user-friendly, and it's still just buttery smooth and is gonna run until the end of time. So if you're in the market for a Type 3, Type 3s are also a lot more common, Type 2s were less common. So this is an awesome choice. A lot of countries did variations of the Type 3, so there you go. Alrighty guys, question of the day follow-up, and then my final thoughts. Now, post-apocalyptic world, equal opportunity, there's roughly 50-50 7.62x39 and 7.33 Kurtz, and roughly 50-50 Sturmgewehrs and AK47s. Now I said pick one based on that. Last time I went with the AK47 just because it's rock solid. There is an issue with the Sturmgewehr of having the recoil system extending into the stock, with that also being kind of a weak point of the gun. So if that breaks or gets damaged or swells, whatever, you lose your gun. But the Sturmgewehr does have a lot of other ergonomic things going for it. The control's way better. I like everything. A lot of it about it is a bit better. Pistol grip, not such a big fan. You can see it's a few inches longer overall. It's also a couple pounds heavier. She's chonk. But the fire rate is also noticeably lower, like low 500s versus 600 and a bit. So equal opportunity where I can be fairly confident that I can resupply and fix or whatever, you know, just keep trudging through with my Sturmgewehr, keep it running. I think I might just go that route. Even just out of nostalgia. I would enjoy the post-apocalyptic world a little bit more. Who am I kidding? I would sling both over my shoulder and run off into the sunset, happy and giddy as can be. But yeah, I could make a case for the Sturmgewehr. Anyways, final thoughts on the AK-47. Milled anyways, it was the AK that was too nice for commies. And that's a shame because they didn't have much. They had to live under assholes. They could have at least had just a nicer gun. It's sad. But we can't change history, we can just talk about it. So, for the time, I think that was an absolute masterpiece. It's still relevant today, so that speaks to that. I'm just a huge fan, so it's great. Those are my final thoughts, they're pretty simple. Anyways, if you want to see my other content on that guy, check out the description below for various links and other resources and stuff in my channel. All the channel partners are listed there as well. Grab yourself a piece of Boom Diggity merch. That definitely helps the channel. Get gun pilled and help us with our conservation efforts, saving some more guns. Anyways, guys, it's been a pleasure to be your host, and I'll catch you all next time. Arm&Gun and Argo. Out for a nap. Boom diggity.